Novocaine is a new action thriller that's out in theaters this weekend. This film stars Jack Quaid, Amber Midthunter, Ray Nicholson, Betty Gabriel, among other people. So this film is about Jack Quaid, who plays a very mild-mannered bank manager. He falls in love with this girl, played by Amber Midthunter, who also works at the bank. And then one day that bank is robbed and she is taken hostage. Now the thing with Jack Quaid's character in this movie is he suffers from this medical condition called SIPA, which means that he cannot feel pain. Like, pain is not a thing to him. He's able to turn this condition to his advantage when he goes after the thieves trying to win this girl back and gets involved in a bunch of fights and a bunch of shenanigans along the way. This is one of those movies where you definitely see the trailer and you're like, okay, that looks like it could be fun, can't wait to see it. But then you slowly sour on the movie over a period of a few months because they keep playing the same R-rated trailer in theaters over and over and over again to the point that you're just sick of hearing about it.
Novocaine? It is you! I thought you'd be dead by now.
Well, I'm not.
It's fucking Novocaine! And he's not fucking dead!
Come on, you guys got tired of it too. I know I can't be the only one. The floor of my expectations was, I hope it's fun, I hope it's exciting, I hope the action's good. I at the very least want to be entertained for the runtime. I don't really care about anything else. I will say this movie is equal parts action, equal parts comedy, and it's also a romance. They do take about 20 minutes at the beginning of the movie to establish the romance here. And I think the way that they established the romance was good. They have really sweet, believable chemistry, him and Amber. And even though Jack Quaid is basically playing the mild-mannered version of Jack Quaid, he plays this character in almost every movie now, you at least understand why he would risk everything to get this girl back, why he would put his life in danger. I mean, first of all, look at Amber Midthunter, right? The woman is drop dead gorgeous. I don't understand if half the men in the world wouldn't want to risk their lives for her. But putting that aside, they have a good connection and you understand it, and it's because the movie takes the time to establish it in the beginning. So that's a good thing. I would also say the premise of this movie really works. Obviously, you have a character who can't feel pain, and so you can use that to create some really inventive things within the action scenes. More importantly, you can use that premise to create a lot of comedy out of it. Like, there's a lot of organic comedy and a lot of physical comedy without the comedy feeling like it turns into slapstick. Like, if the comedy became a little bit too silly, that probably would turn me off in a movie like this, but it's actually really natural and it fits the situations and the environment that the action and the comedy is taking place in. I also got to give it to this movie for having some really badass, kick-ass action scenes. I thought they really did a great job at taking advantage of this premise because they established, even though he can't feel pain, he can absolutely get his ass whooped. He's not like some badass ninja warrior all of a sudden just because he can't feel pain. He's taking advantage of a medical condition. Even though he can't physically feel the pain, his body absolutely is still going through it. Like, just because you can't feel the bullet, it doesn't mean if you get shot in the neck or something, you're not gonna bleed out. It's like that saying where people are like, hey, if a tree fell over in a forest, did it really happen? Well, like, yeah, it still happened, man. Nobody may have heard it and nobody may care about it, but I mean, there's some anthill or some raccoon or possum that got their shit crushed in because of it. Point is, there are a lot of fun, inventive, creative ways that they apply this to the action scenes, and throughout the entire movie it feels like they're constantly trying to top themselves. This is a movie that constantly is dialing up the chaos in the action scenes, and it seems to really thrive off of it, mostly because of really dynamic character movement, but also really dynamic sets and dynamic environments that the characters can interact with. I also feel like the movie is incredibly well paced. I was never bored. I was constantly engaged. The movie doesn't try to bog you down with a bunch of unnecessary exposition. The movie's got heart. It mixes its comedy well. It doesn't use the comedy to take away from the action scenes or the more serious, intense moments when they happen. Normally the cops in movies like this, they're basically like the worst version of Paul Blart Mall Cop. But in this movie, I thought the cops were actual human beings and they weren't completely useless, and I thought that was pretty cool. There are a few dumb moments that they have to throw into the script to create a bunch of really weird conveniences and contrivances that do take away from the narrative a little bit. I can't say what the dumb moments are because that would feel like spoilers, but I do have enough here to say some things that wouldn't happen in the movie normally, and it feels like they only happen because they want to take advantage of the gimmick that is, hey, this guy doesn't feel pain. Because of that, there are dumb things that happen, and then there are just dumb things that happen in general, especially towards the third act, that create a bunch of weird things where it's like, I don't think this would be happening otherwise, but sure, we'll go with it. Speaking of that third act, there are some fun things that happen for sure, but there is a certain suspension of disbelief that is required the longer the movie goes goes on. And that's me accepting the premise of the movie, accepting the rules that they've established, and still saying, you probably went a bit too far there. Ray Nicholson is good in this movie, but his villain does feel a little bit underdeveloped, a little bit underwritten. I would have liked to see a tiny bit more depth applied to his character. In the end, Novocaine is fun, it's fast-paced, it's exciting, it's got really good action, and pretty good comedy. As far as I'm concerned, Jack Quaid is 2 for 2 in 2025. Amber Midthunder is great, and I really like this movie. I really dug it a lot, actually. Novocaine was a really fun, badass time at the movies, and I'm gonna put this one in the Silver Age for Man of Steel. Tell me what's your favorite Jack Quaid project that he's ever done. Go ahead and put that in the comment section below. Please like and subscribe to the Superfan Show, and if you like what you see, tell me how you feel, and stay tuned to hear more from the Man of Steel. Peace.